Okay, it's time for another Tokyo Mew Mew new episode review thingy. Um, I still haven't done a script. I just have notes, and man, I should just like post all my like bloopers on here one day. No, I will never do that. I delete all my video footage. Anyways, right, review time. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see how many times I fuck up. Okay. So episode 3 is Pudding's introduction and Keisha's introduction, and also Ichigo and Aoyama's second date. The episode opens by reenacting the old Ichigo introduction thingy where she used to be like, I'm Ichigo Momomiya, 13 years old, and one day I got animal DNA and now I have to fight aliens. So they basically like reenacted that, and I just think it's cute. I think Pretty Cure still does that. I forget what season they started doing that, where like their lead would do like a little introduction at the start. But I don't really know other like anime that do that. It's probably like a kid anime thing, right? I don't really watch much kid anime. Anyway, it's cute. I like it. I have nothing more to say about it. Let's move on. Let's see. So the girls are working at a cafe, and Mint, we see acting her usual kind of a little snooty self a little bit, where she, orders Ichigo to do this, do that, blah blah. But then she stops and she helps Lettuce pick up the broken plates and stuff, and it's a cute scene. We love to see it. We love to see our little princess also still be a caring person. Okay, so after the cafe scene, we move to Ichigo waiting on Aoyama. They're gonna go to the zoo together. I like the little addition of her asking him out. And she talks about how like, oh, our last trip to the museum, it got interrupted, but I still wanna like hang out and see animals. So do you wanna go to the zoo? So this episode got me thinking a little bit about Messiah and fandom perception on him, at least on the English speaking side. But generally, I'm used to seeing people talk about Messiah as like, oh, he's boring, he's bland, he's just a nice guy. And I guess when you're competing against, Quiche, Mr. Red Flag, but a lot of people really like the color red, and Rio, who's just a tsundere, you do kind of seem bland in comparison. So the thing about Messiah as a character is that he's supposed to be like this perfect guy at first glance, but there's something a little off about him once you start spending time with him. At least that's what I think the writing staff were trying to do with his character. Okay, I'm gonna compare a little bit to the manga again. So at this point in the story, in the manga, Messiah, he was a little odd, but kind of like in a funny way. Like, he got the accidental kiss with Ichigo, and he was more interested in like the handkerchief kind of thing. It's like, oh, this is like biodegradable or what. Or he like invites her out, and she thinks it's a date, but it's actually to like clean the river. He's that kind of odd. He loves the planet too much, and we didn't really get that in this adaptation. Instead, we got like moments where he is kind of blushy around her, but he also doesn't know how to feel, kind of thing. And that's also part of his character in the manga, where he kind of doesn't know his emotions too well. But this adaptation, I think, is probably the most direct about it, because the cat place scene, where they go to like play with the kitties, that's new content. And so that talk that they have where she's like, oh, you're nervous? Why are you nervous? And he's like, I don't know why I feel this way. That's all like a new conversation. And I think this adaptation is trying to be more direct about it, that he does not know emotions that well. He's a little stunted in that aspect. Cause like I guess you could just say like, oh, he likes her, but he's never had like a crush before. But I don't think that's what they're really going for. Because of like later stuff that happens in the story. Anyways, I'll try talking a little bit more about Messiah later, especially because of the end scene of this episode. But for now, let's talk about Buling. So she shows up, she does her super cute performance with the monkeys and everything. Ichigo walks off to get a drink, and Buling follows her and scares her. The cat ears show up. Buling is like, oh my god, you can make cat ears pop up. I want to do that too. Teach me, teach me, teach me. And then Kish shows up out of nowhere, and that whole scene happens. And the translation spells Kish's name as Kish, which it's supposed to be quiche like the food, you know, but because of, you know, old translations in the time, and there's actually some official Japanese material that spells his name like that, Kish. So it's like the name that most fandom knows him as. I was really hoping that they would spell it like how it's supposed to be spelled, like the food, but whatever, I just think it's funny. Right, so the episode continues. Kish summons the little jellyfish to make the whole zoo turn into Chimera Anima, and then this scene I liked that came up next. Aoyama is in danger, and then the kitty from earlier, the kitty with the little red collar, helps him. And it's like, wow, like, you go, cat. And then the little kitty loses his little collar and runs off. And, you know, that's gonna be the important collar later. But yeah, I just like that cat. And, you know, the episode continues, blah, blah, blah. I wrote in my notes that, like, oh my god, Kish just jumps down and low kicks Ichigo to the ground. I don't know if that's, like, it's funny to me. Okay, let's continue. So Mint and Lettuce show up to save Ichigo. We do not get Lettuce's transformation in this episode. We actually get Pudding's in a little later, which is kind of a shame. I want to see Mew Lettuce transformation. Maybe we'll get it next week, or maybe we'll get like a dedicated Lettuce episode. Is that right? Okay, something I wrote down in my notes is that all of their attacks can actually purify the Chimera Anima, because we see Mint use Ribbon Mint Echo, and Lettuce use Ribbon Lettuce Rush, and they're able to purify Chimera Anima, and it's like, good. I was worried they wouldn't be able to do that. There's a little bit of physical fighting too, along with the normal magical attacks, which I like to see, just a little bit. And then Ichigo, there's a moment she's about to get stomped, and Buling, she's worried and she screams, and that is enough to activate her powers. And her transformation, it's very quick, but it's pretty. I really like the sakura trees that we see and the little monkeys around. Her attack is also very pretty. It has the same like kind of sakura trees around. But it's really funny how the Chimera were just like perfectly standing there to get collected by her pudding attack. So they save the day. Kish is like, oh, you're interesting or whatever, because I don't know, he likes a challenge, I guess. He likes to see a girl cry. He's a bit of an S type. They adapted the special medicine scene with Buling. It was pretty cute, the way the chibis looked and everything. But please don't actually drug someone to make them love you. Love potions are a mistake. And then suddenly the sun is setting. Very abrupt. But we have to do this for the really big scene so it all looks pretty. So yeah. Ichigo runs up to Aoyama. He yells at her like, where'd you go? I was worried about you, blah blah blah. And then he apologizes for yelling, and then he gives her the ribbon that the cat had. And you know, now that it's like 20 plus years, I do realize it's kind of weird for him to do that. Like, I guess the sentiment is supposed to be cute, you know? But yeah, it is kind of weird. He just like picked that up from a cat, and it's like, but I think a lot of people make it even more weirder because they're like, oh, this is like some weird roleplay shit, you know, this is like kinky or something. It's like, no, you guys, they were originally middle schoolers and now they're in high school. They're not thinking about that, hopefully. It's just supposed to be like kind of cute thing, and it's Messiah. He doesn't know about that shit. He barely knows why he feels nervous. You think he knows about weird roleplay shit? No, he don't. Yeah, the cat bell ribbon. It's supposed to be, you know, kind of like a symbolic thing, you know. You know, wherever you are, I'll be able to find you kind of thing. It's supposed to be cute like that. It is a little weird, I'll admit. And anyway, they walk off. She grabs his arm. It's cute. And the cat from before is just kind of staring at them, walking away. And the cat probably wants their ribbon back, now that I think about it. And yeah, that's the end of the episode. A lot of stuff happened in this episode when you think about it. And I like it. Sometimes I'll like see some comments on like Twitter, it's like, oh, isn't this show kind of going like really fast? And it's like, yeah, like if you compare it to the old anime, it is going like really fast, but it's basically the same speed as the original manga, because the original manga was also pretty speedy. But now that we're heading into episode 4, which is Sakura's introduction, I am kind of wondering if maybe we'll like slow down a little bit and add some more like original content, maybe. Because the thing is that if you've like looked at the opening and ending songs, at the animations and stuff, when Sakura shows up in certain points, seem to be hinting at stuff. You know, the playing card motif, for example, we see the other 4 girls, they're all the ace, but Sakura, we don't know what symbol she has. She could be like a joker, like a wild card, or I don't know, maybe like a jack or a queen, or I don't know. She's not an ace, that's the point. And then that other scene where it's her silhouette, and we see the aliens. We see Quiche and we see Pi. They do seem to be hinting at, you know, something different with Sakura, and she was always kind of like a little bit of like, oh, I'm a lone wolf kind of thing. I don't want to be part of the team. And then she almost worked with Quiche for some reason. I don't remember what the old anime did with that. But now I'm kind of wondering how much of that is going to change, if she'll actually like spend a few episodes with the aliens, because we have like, it'd be one thing if it was just Quiche in that silhouette in the ending song, but it's Pi too, and normally Pi doesn't show up at this point. He shows up like a little later. But if he's showing up now with like Sakura content, that's why I'm like curious. Where would that leave? I don't know where that would leave you. Okay, anyway, I'm done now, I think. I gotta edit this video, gotta do other stuff, I gotta go. See y'all next time, maybe, if you stick around to watch. Goodbye, bye for now, adios, bye.